Welcome to HDTV. You are now rocking with your boy. The Golden State Warriors are going to acquire Kelly Oubre Jr. in a trade with the Thunder, per report. The Warriors will absorb Oubre into the trade exception created by dealing Andre Iguodala last summer. The Golden State Warriors are set to acquire Kelly Oubre Jr. from the Oklahoma City Thunder, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The Warriors will absorb Oubre into the trade exception created after dealing Andre Iguodala without taking back any salary last offseason, meaning they will not have to send back any salary to match Oubre's in the deal. The Thunder will receive Golden State's 2021 first-round pick, but only if it falls between number 21 and number 30 overall, according to Wojnarowski. If it doesn't, the Warriors will send the Thunder 2 second-round picks. The financial ramifications of the deal are absolutely enormous. ESPN's Bobby Marks projects that Golden State's luxury tax bill could rise up to $134 million. This likely won't be Golden State's last financial expenditure either. The Warriors can also use the taxpayer mid-level exception, could get a disabled player exception after Klay Thompson's injury, and will have to fill out the remainder of the roster with minimum salary contracts. They are trying to bring fans back to the Chase Center next season at a limited capacity, but no matter what they do, they are going to lose a meaningful chunk of projected revenue next season, making the financial commitment here all the more impressive. With Thompson out for the season, recovering from a torn Achilles tendon, the Warriors needed this sort of jolt. Oubre will presumably fill Thompson's spot as Golden State's starting shooting guard, joining a lineup featuring Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and number 2 overall pick James Wiseman. The Thunder, meanwhile, saved the money owed to Oubre Jr. as they continue to offload veterans. Oklahoma City has now spun off both of the big salaries acquired in the Chris Paul deal as they sent Ricky Rubio to Minnesota on Wednesday. With Paul and Dennis Schroeder gone, the Thunder are expected to let Danilo Gallinari leave in free agency and begin a rebuild around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and their mountain of draft picks in earnest. Golden State's championship hopes may have been dashed by Thompson's injury, but in Oubre, they found a player that can at least help them make it back to the postseason. It's not the level of success that the Warriors have become accustomed to, but now that Stephen Curry is 32 years old, the Warriors can't afford to waste seasons of his prime anymore. They have to try to win now, and this move helps them do so. Well, this is a big move. The Warriors were able to cover up for losing Klay, but not that much, but they could be a formidable team next year. Oubre is a energy guy. He's a scrapper. He gets rebounds. He can defend. He can shoot pretty good. Not the greatest, but his toughness, and he's a team guy, and he listens. He'll play with his teammates. He'll make sure to have their back. He's a good piece. He's the opposite of Andrew Wiggins. He has the intangibles and the will more than Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins has more talent, but Oubre is, to me, a better player. So we're gonna see, how this goes down. We're gonna see if this makes the Warriors great. I still want to see how the Clippers would look with Ty Lue. I want to see how they look with him, and I want to see who they bring all back. I still don't think they should bring Marcus Morris back. I think they ought to let Marcus Morris walk. Marcus Morris should just move on to me. But it is what it is. But with the Warriors should be fine. Like I said in the other video, I was talking about the No More Excuses video that I just did. Basically, I'm just saying, look, I don't want to hear no more of these excuses, and they're doing something about them lacking Clay because Kelly Oubre can play defense. He helped turn the Suns around in the bubble. He got them all together even during the season. I don't know if he played during the bubble. I have to go back and see. But I know during the season, I'm not sure about the bubble. I think he played or he didn't play. I forgot. But I know during the season, man, he was D'ing up guys. He was going at LeBron. He was going at not only LeBron, he was going at Kawhi. He was going at all the guys that he needed to go against. And he did an exceptional job. But he's not on a Klay Thompson level right now. But he might have the potential. But with the Warriors, I mean, excuse me, not the Warriors, but with the Thunder, they're in rebuild mode. To me, Sam Presti is still a bad GM. I have said this in the past, and I still continue to say it. I believe he's a terrible GM. Yes, he was able to get guys off and get them traded to other teams to unload their contracts and save the company money. That's fine and all. Like financially, business wise, he did a good job. But as far as a talent guy and retaining talent as a GM, where some of the best GMs are known to have the best work, is when they're able to draft and sign players back. He traded James Harden overnight for nothing. He didn't give James Harden any time to respond. He just traded him. He gave him an ultimatum, then traded him. This was reported on all the news networks. The news even was like, this is a shock. Why would they just trade James like that? And then basically you let probably your greatest player ever in the franchise history, let's just say it, he is the greatest player in franchise history if you put the Sonics and the Thunder together. If you put the Sonics and the Thunder together, Kevin Durant's the greatest player in their history. And you basically didn't listen to what your superstar was trying to tell you. You should have been dealt Russell Westbrook. And I said this, they should have dealt Russell Westbrook after the finals. And I said the reason why I would do that is I can get value with him because I foreseen that him and Westbrook would not work. KD and Westbrook would not work. So as a GM, you're supposed to go with the better player. Kevin Durant is a far more superior player than Russell Westbrook. But I understand you drafted Russell Westbrook. I don't think Sam Presti drafted KD because KD was drafted by the Sonics. So I don't believe he drafted Kevin Durant. So this is a sickness that, to me, it's not a sickness, but this is ludicrous on how people think that this guy's a great GM. He's not. He's not at all. You had a chance to win a championship or two. You could have won 2 championships. You had a squad. And then you blew it. Now you're back to mediocrity. Now, next year we'll see how your team plays. But I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to come and play. But I'm not sure about your boy Gallinari. Gallinari will play, but will he stay healthy? He is known to get hurt. And then you have Steven Adams. There's reports that the Celtics are trying to get Steven Adams. There's reports on that. Then you have the Wizards out there. The Celtics are trying to go after him. Like I said, they're trying to trade for him because they need a big guy. Because you got to think about it. Daniel Tyson, Robert Williams, yeah, they're athletically, they could play center, but they're not a center. They're more of a power forward. They're not built to be a center. But if they get Steven Adams, that will help them out tremendously. But I just think, man, that I'm just going to say, I hope this season turns out better. Right now, football is destroying it. Football is destroying basketball because they make storylines, but not only do they make storylines, the game actually matches up to the storyline. Sometimes, but then sometimes it'll go left where another team will blow another team out. But this is crazy to me. And this is crazy because to me, they're going to put the Lakers back in. They want LeBron to win 3 more rings. They want him to win this year, next year, so he can have his 3-peat, so they can try to say and sell to the new generation that he's the greatest of all time. And that's what they're going to try to do. So all this other stuff that's being presented, it's all BS. All that's going to happen is LeBron is going to get to the playoffs, or he's going to sit back, he's going to ride the wing, he's going to be a role player like he's always been his whole career. And you have his guy, Anthony Davis, who's the best player on the team, but he has a beta personality, which is he defers to LeBron. But he turns into the alpha when it's time to close or win the game. And to me, it's like, how can you say that LeBron was the best player? LeBron had a terrible playoffs. He had a terrible playoffs. He had a terrible playoffs, and he had a terrible finals. His team and Rondo and Anthony Davis helped put them guys over the top. The best games he played was that game 3 of the finals and that game 5. He was extraordinary in those games. He's had games like that before, but he comes up short. He comes up short. Anthony Davis deserved that MVP, but Anthony Davis not going to fight for it because he's soft. He's not going to do it. He's scared of LeBron. He worships and he bows to LeBron. If LeBron tell him to get on all fours, he would do it because he's that much in awe of him, which I don't know why. But Golden State will be a formidable team. I believe they'll still be maybe a 4th or 5th seed. I believe 6 maybe is the lowest, but I think they can be a 3rd or 4th seed. I believe they can do that with the team they have, barring no injuries. If you have no injuries, then I believe it'll be good. The Clippers, the Clippers got to figure out what direction do they want to go in. Like what direction do you want to go in? Do you want to be the number 1 team in the West and just celebrate that? Or do you don't care where you're placed? You just want to go and win a championship. There's 2 different mindsets. There's a team who's hungry and who's going to work and bust their butt to be the best that they can be. Then you got the others who just hoping that they can get there, or they're just like, look, we're going to do what we can just to get there. Like they've already given up, but they're still going to go out there and try. You have to pick one or the other. You have to either go seize the moment or you're just going to be succumb to the moment. You're going to succumb to it and just fail. You guys have to step up. You guys have too much talent to go into this season with, where it's just like, oh my goodness, how do you lose? And also, you got the Nuggets coming back, and they're going after Jeremy Grant. Let me see. Did they sign Jeremy Grant? Let's see. Let's see. So I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the I don't forgot what I was gonna say, but James Harden and Russell Westbrook, like these guys are putting out that the owners are racist, is that's why they wanted to leave. Yeah. It says here that James Harden, Russell Westbrook wants out of Houston due to owners' Trump support. The rumors that James Harden and Russell Westbrook want the Houston Rockets to trade them appear to be over their desire to win now. With the new GM and head coach, it could feel like they're starting all over again. And that's not what they signed up for. That narrative makes sense, but it may not be the real reason. According to a new report, Harden, Westbrook, and others are revolting against Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta's political leanings. Players upset over owner Trump support. So they're upset because this guy Fertitta supports the Rocket. Fertitta is basically the owner. So they're upset because he donates to the Republican Party and blah, blah, blah. No, look. Harden and Westbrook are upset because they're going in another direction with new coaches, new GM, and they're trading guys away that could help them get to a championship. So they're ready to leave. They're ready to go because they didn't like and then their names were out there in the trade talks, and James Harden's like, you guys trying to trade me? It's crazy. Like, they literally tried to put him out there, and they literally lied and didn't say anything about him wanting to be traded. But they want to try to make it like, okay, they want to go into their direction. No, they don't want to go into their direction. The owners are like how I feel. They came to it and said, listen, we're not going to win with these two guys. They're not. So why not dangle them out there? The problem is they weren't smooth about it. The Rockets just blatantly put it out there like, look, we got Harden and Westbrook for sale. You don't do that because these new generation guys, they're to take the ball and go home players. That's how these players are today. Are today. They're to take the ball and go home guy. And Harden does not need to go to Brooklyn to play with Kyrie or Kevin Durant. Doesn't need to happen because that would be total disaster. Everybody knows this. It's already not looking good with just KD and Kyrie. I don't know how that's going to fit, but we'll see. But I don't know if KD's going to be all that up to par yet. I think it's going to take him some time. I say about January, he'll start getting into things and he'll take off. But he's going to start off slow. And we need to expect that. Don't all you haters start killing him saying, oh, he can't do it without Golden State, because I already know what you guys are going to say. So let's give it a chance, see what's going on. The Miami Heat, they're looking good. The Miami Heat, they just did the draft. I missed the draft. My boy Uncle Frank asked me a question about it, and I didn't even watch. I watched some of it. I saw we got Cole Anthony for my Magic. Everybody was like, "That's a great pick." I saw him. I'm like, so what you guys gonna do with Markelle Fultz? I mean, Orlando always do this. It's like, look, I mean, it's cool you got Cole Anthony, but it's like, what are you gonna do with Markelle Fultz? Is Markelle Fultz gonna be the one, or is he gonna be the two? Like, you gotta choose, because you can't go into camp saying one thing and doing something else. That's not gonna play well out of these two players. So, and then Jonathan Isaac has to stay healthy, and Aaron Gordon, I'm hearing his name is in reports to be traded. Yeah, the Blazers went after Aaron Gordon before trading for Covington, and the Magic, they turned down the dealing Aaron Gordon to Portland Trailblazers. They turned that down. Yeah, the Portland's offered to land Gordon before the Blazers used similar assets to make their move for the Rockets' Robert Covington. Per sources, Gordon was said to be the Blazers' number one target. And then they said they find it strange that the Magic turned the deal down. They would have received 2 first-round picks and got off a large amount of salary for 2021. The Magic are going nowhere as a back-to-back 8 seed in the playoffs and a team with no real future star. The Magic losses the Rockets gain, who now have 2 first-round picks that they will get to use in this year's draft. Man, I know what happened. They basically, the league basically, I bet you this would happen. I'm just saying this allegedly, but I feel that the league stepped in and said, no, let the Rockets trade somebody. You guys stay where y'all at. Because they don't want to promote no Magic. Come on now, because if it was me, I would have let Aaron Gordon go. I would have let him go. Because the Magic aren't finna win nothing in the next year, and then you got 2 young studs in Markelle Fultz, and you got Cole Anthony, and then you got Vucevic, who's decent. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he could be better, but he does what he can do. But he's okay. But to me, he has to be paired with somebody that could go to that next level. It's like him and Fultz last year was a poor man's Murray and Joker. So that's what I'm saying. So we'll see. But I've been talking too long. This is a little something I just did. It's just basketball talk, man, seeing what's going on. I got more to talk about. I'm doing a live this Saturday. You guys tune in. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notification for new videos. And if you want to donate to the page, cash at me at the word welcome, the number 2, HDIITV. And thank you for listening. We out. La boy.